Welcome back to Sub-Zero Hero, and here's another nice little bit of redemption, the opportunity to attend an interview with one of the clubs that sacked us in FM20. We're going to turn it down, of course. We've got work to do at Tromsdalen as we approach what could be the final season of Sub-Zero Hero. So we're kicking off this new season with a Norwegian Super Cup tie against Rosenborg, but that's right, you did hear correctly. This could be the last season of Sub-Zero Hero. The release of the FM22 beta is only a couple of months away. I've got a couple of other projects I want to try and squeeze in before that is released, and we need an appropriate point to wrap up Sub-Zero Hero. We could have done it with the culmination of winning our first league title, but I wanted to see whether we could make Sub-Zero Heroes of these boys in continental competition. So we're going to give the Champions League a whirl. Now, I say this could be the last season of Sub-Zero Hero. That all depends on how well we do in Europe, because the difference is between the calendar in Scandinavia and the calendar in the rest of continental Europe. Well, our Champions League campaign could stretch across 2 seasons if we go deep in the competition. If we're knocked out early, this will be the last season of Sub-Zero Hero, but if we are triumphant in the group stage, well, it could go into another season of Norwegian competition to see out the culmination of that Champions League charge. And speaking of making a charge in Europe, we've strengthened the squad a little to try and help us out. So before we guide you through the ins, let's talk about the outs. And although the window has still got a little bit of time to run, we've not lost any of our top names yet. We haven't had any significant bids for Roy the Boy, or for Christian Pettersson, or the Arctic Tiger, or any of our star players. It's often the case that those big bids don't come in until deadline day, and we're still a little bit shy of that. But as things stand, we've got all of our key names still with us, and we've managed to add a little bit of strength in depth, plus what I'm hoping could be another star name. So let's start with the strength in depth, beginning with Bjorn Blindheim, a player who was first stolen from our academy by Tromsø years and years ago. I managed to sign him back, only to be sacked before we really got the chance to see him in action. Tromsdalen sold him again while we were at Toulouse. We've bought him back in just to give us a little bit something different in our attacking options. A 6'6" striker to come off the bench when plan A, B and C are not working, I thought might be useful, and it would also give us a little bit more depth in our attacking options. So he's the first player that's come in. I don't envisage him playing lots of games, maybe 5 to 10 during the course of the season, mainly as an impact player off the bench when we're looking for a goal. So another player that's returning to the club is Ekapov Nyamsop, who was playing out in Sweden in their top division, and I've brought him back in really as very much as a backup option. Maybe he'll start 3 to 5 games during the season when our other midfielders are out of form or fitness. And I really struggled to find a midfielder for us during the window. We tried for Martin Dusund Ibsen, but Schalwan now want £22 million. We tried to bring in Morten Fjellingsdal on loan, but that would have required a fee of £400,000 a month. We even tried to sign Paul Runnigan, had a contract accepted, but he decided to seek riches elsewhere overseas. So Ekapov is our boy, a backup option, but we've got better strength elsewhere. Because if we head into the defence, Trond Agner Bratton has come in permanently, £3.69 million. He's been installed as the club's captain, which Herken Skogdal is not too happy about. But Trond Agner Bratton is going to be a starting centre-back for us, and Herken, well, he's going to be a sub-player, I think. So we've got our leader, our rock, back in the defence, and we've strengthened elsewhere in the defence as well. With Abdelali Lakassi heading back to Toulouse on the culmination of his loan spell, we needed another backup defender. Henrik Nilsson is the player that we've gone for. He was playing in the Netherlands. We've bought him back. Is he going to start many games? No, but he gives us a little bit of versatility. Can play at right back, right wing back, or in central midfield as well. And as another emergency backup option, he's just going to be there if we need him in some of those league games after European ties, where the other boys might be struggling for a little bit of fitness. But we've also signed a new first choice left back. So it's not Yuri Grachev, he's moved to the Bundesliga for £24 million, but instead we've got Asad Jawad, who is going to come in as our first choice left back. We've paid quite a lot of money for him. If he goes on to make certain numbers of appearances for us, he could rise to over £6 million, maybe. We've slightly overpaid for him, but only about £3.5 million of his fee was up front, and I think he is going to give us a little bit of stability at the back. He's got some very good mental attributes, works very hard up and down that left-hand side, good concentration, good bravery. If the Arctic Tiger gets sold from beneath us or struggles to keep up with the number of games we've got, he can comfortably slot in as a centre-back. He can play a little bit further forward as well, even though his crossing and dribbling are not great. We've even been trialling him out during pre-season as an inverted wing-back, because we've made a couple of little tweaks to our tactic, so we've got a plan B going into the new season. So I wanted to create a little alternative to the formation that served us so well during the last season. Not a revolution, just something that was slightly tweaked, maybe to keep the opposition guessing a little bit. So we've invented the Tiffany Amber Tyson, which to begin with had two inverted wingers cutting into midfield as two Mazzalas headed out into the channels and two inside forwards drifted inside to support a lone front man. But we've decided to change one of those inverted wing-backs to a wing-back on attack, who now gets very, very advanced and in pre-season has been getting on the score sheet a little bit. And rather than two attacking Mazzalas, we've now dropped one of those to a support duty and kept an inverted wing-back over on the left. It means that old Christian Bernsen can go and play out there, and an inverted wing-back is his most comfortable role. But I think it says much to our strength in depth now. Players like Christian Bernsen look like they might be a backup option this season. So this is going to be the tactic that we're going to trial out today. We may well revert back to our Ted Danson once the season gets underway, because that did work very well last campaign. But we're going to try the Tiffany Amber Tyson out today and see whether it can break down the great Rosenborg side that have dominated Norwegian football for oh so long. So this is the Norwegian Super Cup, but Rosenborg are at home for this. Not entirely sure why. Maybe they play it at their Lerkendal Stadium every season. Seems a little bit unfair if you ask me. Asad Jawad is lacking a little bit of match fitness, by the way. So I think he might only have a half, 60 minutes tops. But it will be good to see him in action on his second debut for the club. We've raced through the first one, nearly 20 minutes. And we have hit the highlights at last. We've thrown in a ball from the sideline, given it away, and now we've got to try and win it back as Julio Cesar has the ball for Rosenborg. They've got a couple of South American talents looking at the names, and they are pretty comfortable on the ball right now. I'd like to see us close down with a little bit more tenacity, just like that, and Roy the boy's in. He slipped it to Larsen Pleam. We've given the ball away again. This is a bit of a clumsy highlight so far. They've gone long. We should recover it. Bratton's picked up a booking already. There's Jawad drifting inside slightly to make up numbers in the midfield. Hopefully it's all going to make us a little bit more fluid, more difficult to pick up. And we're going to have more interchanging of positions with those inside forwards, Mazzalas, and the inverted wing back. And the Ting over at right back is going to be bombing forward into the box as well. We'll see whether it makes us a more potent threat. Not sure we'll be using it in our European ties. Might be a little bit gung-ho for that, but I'm thinking lots of teams are going to play pretty cautiously against us this season as we come into the season as champions. So we might need something a bit more inventive and creative to try and break them down. Maybe this will be it, although Julio Cesar is looking to put Rosenborg 1-0 up. Monnier comes to our rescue. And at 20 minutes gone, that was probably a chance that Rosenborg should have taken. They've now got the corner. We've got it away for the moment. It's gone back out. Quesada's given the ball away. And this is a highlight that looks like it's continuing. Monnier now, the Tiger, Kirkvold. Now the highlight peters out. We're back in pretty quickly though. Here's Larsen Pleam again. He's gone down. I thought that might have been a penalty, but that's not even the highlight. They've blasted it forward. Here's Jawad, the boy, Sturvold. Pretty fluid passing. We've had a chance that has been smuggled behind for a corner. Some of our interchanging and our passing between our players looks pretty slick with this tactic. And you have players popping up in all kinds of positions. Jawad will be on the edge of the box trying to play through balls. The Ting will be getting on the end of things at the far post. Looking pretty good. I think we've just won ourselves a penalty. We had some problems with penalties, not just at the end of last season, but during pre-season as well. The Ting missed 3 during pre-season. So we've given them to Larson Pleam, even though he's only our 3rd best penalty taker. But we thought, well, at least he's got an eye for goal. And on 25 minutes, he's tucked one coolly into the corner to give us the lead. He's dispatched that with aplomb, hasn't he? He's up and running for the season, on loan for the whole campaign. It's going to be great to see Espen Larson Pleam continue his development with us. He's worth more than £10 million. Could be, in a few years' time, our most successful Sub-Zero hero, but that's something we'll talk about in a future episode. We've got the Ting. He's got it to Ola Christian Bratton, who has smashed a post. And a player then just ran across in front of the ball, ignored it rather than tap it into an empty net, and waited very cordially for the defender to clear it. I think we've had the better of that first half. An XG of almost 2 shows that we probably should have scored more than we have. We're going to go and check on Jawad's fitness and then potentially come back out for the second half, having made a change or 2. Okay, we're back underway. Jawad's fitness wasn't too bad, so we're going to give him until 60 minutes. But Jonas Skogfang Pedersen was on a 6.4, so we've hooked him off at half-time. And we've brought Judge Reinhold out over onto the right-hand side. He wants to be a winger. We're going to ask him to be an inside forward and see how he gets on. And as you can see, he's already tucked inside with the Ting overlapping outside of him. We'll see whether the judge can get used to playing a slightly more inside forward role. He got on the end of that one all right, didn't he? He's not got the greatest finishing. I think his finishing is only a 10, but he does score some goals. We'll see if we can do it when he's not playing as a winger. The highlight continues. We're having a little nibble at their players in the box, but we've managed to thrash it away. And we've now got an XG of almost 2.5, and we've only scored once. I reckon a second goal is going to be needed in order to try and win this Norwegian Super Cup. And we have gone over the top. Here is our boy Espen. He's blasted one at the keeper. He was getting crowded out by a couple of defenders, so perhaps you can forgive him for missing that chance. But it's another one that's gone begging. The judge is going to pick up the ball and dribble it out of play. It's still early in the season. They're a little bit rusty. And we are getting towards 60 minutes, and I think we could be taking Jawad off at this point. In fact, let's pause. Let's make that change now. Okay, we are back underway. Still only 1-0. It's a fragile little lead, isn't it? And we've got just over 20 minutes to go. We've got the Arctic Tiger, Kirkvold, still at the base of that midfield. Still our most cautious of our midfield 3, but I think we've pushed him up to a support duty rather than a defend one, to see whether he can get a little bit more involved in the play himself. Sturvold, Berntsen now on the pitch. Kirkvold, he's got it to Espen. He's run past 1, he's gone past 2. Ghosted his way towards the 6-yard box. Tight angle. Can't hit the target. And we're starting to think about what our final change could be. We've got a corner. It's the Ting. We've got the ball into the box. Roy the boy's coming inside. Not having his best afternoon either. Maybe Roy the boy going off could be our final change. Okay, final change made. Roy the boy off. Christian Pettersson on. We've moved Espen Larsen Pleam out to the left-hand side as that inside forward. Chrissy Petts is going to be the striker. I don't think he's going to have much involvement because we're ticking our way towards injury time. An XG of over 3. We've won the game 1-0. Well, we won it, and we didn't look unduly worried by Rosenborg. And Trondagner Bratton's about to go and pick up his 3rd trophy in the last 3 episodes. But I would have liked to have seen us be a little more clinical in front of goal. But let's not knock it, because this is the 3rd trophy now during Our second spell at Tromsdalen, the boys are getting a little bit of a taste for picking up silverware. We've still got a lot of work to do. I'm still expecting to have to fend off some bids from some big clubs come transfer deadline day, but it's time for us to go and get our league campaign underway. By the time you come back next, we might know who our first opponents are going to be in European competition.